UCLA is a university with unlimited possibilities for students that desire world-class academics and research, unmatched diversity, incredible cultural and social opportunities, successful alumni and career networking, first-class campus facilities, plus America's top intercollegiate sports teams. Located in Westwood, just a few miles from the Pacific Ocean, UCLA's 1 square mile campus is surrounded by famous cities such as Bel Air, Beverly Hills, Brentwood, and Santa Monica.
Welcome to UCLA Bruin Talk. I'm Ralph Irvin. This week we're talking women's basketball and baseball. First, we're joined by women's basketball senior Chinyere Beckway, and then we'll talk with the UCLA baseball head coach, John Savage. But first, before we get started, let's take a look at the upcoming events. Get started this time on the hardwood. Janier Beckway, or Ray Ray, was born here in Southern California in Los Angeles and comes from an athletic family. A couple brothers and a sister all playing college basketball. She's a sociology major and has some interests beyond basketball that we'll also get into. Ray Ray, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
First, let's talk about your family because you had 2 brothers and a sister who all played college basketball. Got to be a lot of basketball around you growing up that led to a love of the game.
Definitely. I started acting and dancing, but my brothers always play basketball. So, being a little sister, you're like, I want to do what they do. So, that definitely had a great influence to me playing basketball.
And besides enjoying the game, it also had to make it a lot more fun for you to get better because you wanted to be able to compete.
Definitely. And we were always competing on the court. My brothers would bash me and my little sisters all the time. So it really just made us better.
And talk about getting better. High recruit coming out of high school, had a great high school career, which brought you to UCLA. Why'd you choose UCLA?
Well, I chose UCLA. My 2 schools came down to Maryland and UCLA. My brother went to Maryland, and I always liked to be under my brother. However, Maryland was just too far for me. UCLA I was close to my parents, and it's just a great school. I get the best of both worlds, academically and athletically.
And, I mean, you talk about coming to UCLA, you also don't have to deal with cold winters or any of that other stuff.
Definitely.
You knew exactly what life in LA was like.
Definitely. LA has the best weather. It's just a good environment for me, and for what I want to do. I just think UCLA is a tremendous network for what I want to do, and that's going to the entertainment business. LA has a lot of opportunity for that.
Now, here it is your senior year, and the team's having a very good season. Talk about the changes that have led to such a successful year.
Well, first and foremost, I would like to say Nikki Caldwell definitely was a big part of that. Nikki, she really brings discipline into the team, and she emphasizes, defense and rebounding, and those are the 2 things that led into my team's success this year.
I mean, really, you talk about a coaching change, and if you're going to have a change, and Coach Caldwell's been on the show before, why not tap into a very successful program at Tennessee? And I'm sure she's brought a lot of those traits with her in terms of toughness as well as attitude.
Definitely. She comes from a powerhouse, and I just think Nikki Caldwell, she had the pretty much the choice to either roll with me or not roll with me because I'm a senior and this was my last year. So, I think when I'm put in situations like that, coaches have different ways of doing things, either, sticking with me or not, or just worrying about the younger players. And I think she really has embraced me as a senior and as a leader. And I've just been that player that she's just wanted me to be.
And at the same time, it keeps you kind of fresh because everything's new. Nothing's old. That sometimes seniors, well, I've done this, I've done that.
Yeah.
Nothing's new, or everything's new this year.
Yeah. And she really, like, discipline is like our biggest thing, and being a team, and we're very team oriented this year, and our goal is just to go out and win, and leave everything on the floor. I think Nikki's a very, very, very nice person. However, she just doesn't play. Like, she's one of those pieces where you just know she doesn't play. But I think she's really caring. She took us in, and she's just very open and very warm-hearted.
Yeah, it's interesting when you're dealing with someone that can be really nice, and then you do the wrong thing, and that look goes from a smile to a scowl, or just that look you don't want to see.
Right, but I think Nikki, the lessons that she teaches, it's more of life, like, learning things about life, to making us into better women,
Well, you talk about being a senior, and you talk about growing into being a woman. You've also probably then had to be a mentor for a lot of younger players.
Definitely, we have some good freshmen. I'm very grateful for that, But I like taking upon that role. Being a leader is great for me, because I'm not the oldest player on the team, but I am one of the players that had the most experience, and I really embrace, being a mentor for the younger ones.
And I bet that doesn't stop at the court. I mean, it's all the time that they ask you about anything.
Yes, that's from what do I wear, Ray? Should I say this? Should I do this? What do I do? I mean, I really embrace it. It's really fun because I know when I was a freshman, I had, players like Nikki Blue, Lisa Willis, Noelle Quinn, and those people really embraced me and took me in. And so I know how it feels when you don't know what to do or what to say, and someone is always there to help you.
And I assume that then, if you get their trust from just helping them, where's a good place to eat, things like that, then they start to then trust you more as a player.
Definitely. We have out-of-staters like Darina Campbell and Christina Ibekwe that really don't know what to do in LA when they came here. So, I really took upon that role to help them get adapted to what it's like to be here at UCLA and just in LA, period.
You talk about the success this year. It's not just the coach, though, because you do have some phenomenal teammates. Talk about some of those. I mean, you mentioned Darina Campbell running the point, and how's it playing with her?
I remember when Darina first came here, we called her the silent killer because you never know what she's going to do. But I think all my teammates bring in something different. Taka Allison, that's our three-point spark. She brings so much energy to this team. We have some phenomenal freshman, and Tonya Ingafa, she just gets after it with all the energy that she brings. So I think a lot of my teammates bring something a little different to the table, and we need each and every one of those players because that contributes to a win and for us to do well.
Well, and it also goes back to the attitude that Coach Caldwell brings into the team that encourages everyone to just go full bore and be amazed by the results that come from it.
Yeah, definitely. I think our team is a transition team. We like to go up and down and just get after it. Defense and rebounds is that's what we hear every single day. Defense and rebounds. We're one of the leading teams in the nation with rebounding. So I don't know. I think it just plays into what we have to do this year.
And again, you take the defense, you get the rebounds, that leads to the transition and hopefully the easy baskets. Recently, you played your final game at Pauley Pavilion, and you're in your senior year, and just happened to pull a major upset, beating the fourth-ranked team in the country in the Cal Bears. How was that?
That game was amazing. I was very emotional that game. I was crying that game because I've been through so much, and just to actually be in that moment, to actually think about, wow, this is my last game that I'm going to play at Pauley Pavilion and come out with the win. I told my teammates, if you guys don't do anything for me, let's just get a win on my senior night. And that was just so much fun beating Cal. They're a very talented team, but I just think when you put it all on the floor, the team with the most heart will come out with a victory.
Well, and as I say, it all started off with being introduced with your family, and so then to go from that, facing one of the top players in the country, meant that it wasn't going to be an easy win. It wasn't going to be an easy one for anyone playing in the post.
No. I mean, Cal, they have very talented players. They have Devonay Hampton and Ashley Walker. Those are two players that I played with since I was young. Much respect to them. But I know we had a mission. We had our things to do and accomplish, and it didn't matter who we were going up against. So we had to do what we had to do, and just defense.
Now,
was
we've
our
been
biggest thing.
talking a lot of basketball, but you did mention that way back you started out dancing and acting, and that's really how those are the things you did before you learned about basketball. Are they still hobbies of yours?
Definitely. You know, I always modeled it as I was young, and I acted and I danced, and those are things that I want to, you know, go forth doing when I graduate, you know.
Are they things that you've been able to do while you've been in school, or kind of been on the back burner while you've been playing basketball?
Kind of been on the back burner because, you know, NC2A rules, you really can't be on TV. So
Right.
I was kind of limited on what I could do and what I can't do. So I think in the summer, like, modeling really picked up for me because I'm not really playing basketball, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely, if I had the chance to be on America's Next Top Model, that would be great for me. I mean, anything in the entertainment business, commentating, whatever opens up for me, I'll definitely take. And of course, playing in the WNBA, I would always be great. So.
There's no reason to stop playing basketball if you have the opportunity, right?
Definitely. So if the opportunity's there, I'll definitely take it.
Now, of course, you're finishing up your senior year, and besides wrapping up the school, wrapping up your career at UCLA, how do you feel about having played basketball? I mean, now that you're 4 years in, it's like, you know, it takes a couple years for you maybe to realize what UCLA is all about, and I'm sure now you're really grasping that fact.
Yeah, I mean, UCLA is a great school. I met some great people here, from coaches to administrators, so just students on campus, you know, just the environment is just so great. You know, the alumni is great. Everyone comes back. You know, I just take that in. Once a Bruin, always a Bruin, and it's just great to be one. So.
And I would imagine with the basketball program, you've gotten a chance to meet some of the legends from over the years, whether it's Ann Myers, who I know was on the broadcast over the weekend, to some of the other legends.
Yeah, I was just talking to Annie. She was just like, I can't believe you're a senior. You know, just watching her play and watching her on TV play and just talking to her, that was great. And, you know, playing with, you know, the triple threat, you know, Noelle Quinn, Nikki Blue, Lisa Willis. I mean, I met so many different players. I was even coached by Melana Martin. You know, all these players have, you know, put their little ties into what I was doing, and, you know, they influenced me to just keep on going and keep playing, so.
And now with Coach Caldwell, and you've even had a chance to touch base with some professional players who swing by to see her.
Definitely. Candace Parker was at our game the other day. It's just a good basketball environment. You meet so many different people, and I'm just happy to have met, you know, all these people. Tasha Butts, our coach, just people that have been coached by the best, played with the best, or have been the best, you know. So it just opens up opportunity for me.
Is there anything that, now that you're wrapping up your college career, that really jumps out at you, a memory or something that might surprise people, that, you know, maybe it was something, a particular class you took, or just walking on Bruin Walk, that really stands out now that you wrap up your college time?
I'm actually in a class right now, WAC 100B. My TA, Matt Scannable, I think that class, it's the act of moral art.
Okay.
So I thought that class was pretty interesting, because it just talks about different issues that are going on in the world right now. You know, the election with Obama, just all different kind of stuff that's going on right now. So, I mean, I don't know. I like that class, but I don't really.
No, and again, I mean, it's not like basketball hasn't given you one or two memories to take away from your college experience.
Definitely. I have a lot of memories. I really, like my senior night, that was very, 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 very memorable for me. How about beating SC on our home court? That was very fun. I don't know, there's a lot of memories that play in.
Well, Chinyere, good luck with the rest of your season.
Thank you so much.
And again, graduation coming soon. Good luck with that.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Coming up, we're going to take a look at our Athlete of the Week, and we'll talk baseball with UCLA head baseball coach John Savage. You're watching UCLA Bruin Talk.
A trophy can be made just about anywhere. But there's one place where champions are made. UCLA, champions meet here.
Welcome back to UCLA Bruin Talk. Before we talk baseball with head coach John Savage, let's take a look at this week's Athlete of the Week. This week we honor Nikola Dragovic of the UCLA men's basketball team as our Student Athlete of the Week. Nikola was named a starter on January 11th when the Bruins faced USC, and since joining the first five, he's averaged 2.7 three-pointers per game in league play, which ranks third in the Pac-10. Nikola scored 12 points for the Bruins against Cal, allowing UCLA to stay in contention for a share of their fourth consecutive Pac-10 title while sweeping their weekend games in the Bay Area. Cal led 53-49 with 9.5 minutes to play before Nikola's three-pointer kicked off 13 consecutive points for the Bruins. Congratulations, Nikola, and good luck to the rest of the UCLA men's basketball team. Now, for more information on anything with the UCLA athletics program, just give them a call, 310-825-8575. That's the UCLA fan phone. Or, of course, go online, www.uclabruins.com. Welcome back. Here with baseball coach John Savage. He's in his fifth season at UCLA, and since coming to Westwood, he's taken the team to 3 consecutive postseason appearances. That's the first time for the school. 2007, they went to the Super Regionals. In 2008, went to the regional finals, and done a pretty good job with recruiting 4 straight top 13 recruiting classes. Coach, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
First of all, talk about being at UCLA, and there's obviously certain expectations that you face from day one because the athletic director, well, he's got a little interest in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been an honor to be here. It's been a privilege to be the head baseball coach at UCLA. The family, the UCLA Bruin administration has been great with us in terms of helping build this program to the program we all want it to be. Just being part of the program, being such a rich tradition athletic program, all the national championships and all the All-Americans, it's just a pleasure and honor really to be a part of it, and we're hoping to build upon that and make a name for ourselves.
So after 3 straight tournament appearances, what are your expectations for this year's team?
Well, get to Omaha. I mean, we've built this program the last 3 years and had some success and played well in the Pac-10. We played pretty well in the postseason, and now it's time to take that next step and get into the postseason once again, which would be a record 4 years in a row, and then hopefully get into that super regional and make our way to Omaha.
Now, you were picked preseason second in the Pac-10 conference. Not bad, but what would it take to win the Pac-10 this year?
Well, it's always difficult to win the Pac-10. I mean, that is our number one goal, is to win the Pac-10 conference. Arizona State's favored to win the league. I think we are, like you said, predicted second, but it's probably the most competitive baseball conference in the country. You're talking about 1 through 10. I mean, Oregon State, when they won the national championship, finished 7th. So I think anybody can tell how tough it is day in and day out. So we just have to pitch. We got to play defense. We got to hit in clutch situations, and we got to do all the things what good baseball teams do.
And one thing that's different from the past few years is, well, everything, because it seems like you have almost an entirely new lineup. So you have to spend a lot of the early season just figuring out who's the best 9 guys to play.
We did lose a lot of guys. We lost Jermaine Curtis and Brandon Crawford and Ryan Babineau and Alden Carruthers and Tim Murphy, certainly our number 1 pitcher. So it's a little bit of a regroup, reload situation. We do have some good young players. We do have some good experienced players, Cody Decker and Gabe Cohen and Casey Harther and Brendan Lafferty and Jason Novak. So there's a lot to build from, but we are faced with a very difficult schedule, and with a compacted schedule the NCAA has set up. It's a lot of games in a short period of time, and we're ready for it. We got off to a slow start, but we feel like we have been very, very competitive, and we just got to get that big pitch or that big hit, and we'll be where we want to be. But we're only a few games, I think, from really getting into a positive frame of mind.
Well, and you'll start the Pac-10 season facing USC. What do you look to do right before Pac-10? I mean, to get up to that level, what do you need to do with this team? Well,
I think we have some success. Our schedule's so difficult. We play on the road a lot. We play in some very tough environments. We just got back from the Houston Classic, and that environment was as good as it gets. I mean, it was 8,000 people and then 12,000 for another game. And so we're playing in some very difficult environments. We're just trying to prepare for that Pac-10 series, really. We're trying to prepare to win the Pac-10. We have to have some success, certainly, and we just got to keep our younger players a positive frame of mind to make sure that they can compete at this level, they can have success at this level, and there are some growing pains.
You play just about the toughest schedule, if not the toughest schedule in the country.
Yeah.
How does that help, and how does it maybe hurt?
Well,
or does it hurt?
I don't think it does hurt. You know, I mean, people could sit here and criticize it, saying it's too difficult, and you know, you need to, you know, schedule some cupcakes, and I just don't believe in that. You know, I mean, we got this program to where it is today by scheduling tough, and that is our frame of mind. That is our environment that we want to create within the program. We want to create competitiveness within the program. We certainly want to create competitiveness who we play. And like I said, we want to prepare ourselves for the Pac-10 and the postseason. And right now, we played the postseason 3 years in a row on the road. So you better learn how to play on the road if you want to get to Omaha.
And it's one of those things that you have to juggle as a manager, because you play so many quality teams from the Southern California area that are not a part of the Pac-10.
Yeah.
Where you have to put your weight. Do I want to focus on playing all the great teams we play, or do I focus on the Pac-10 season?
Well, it's RPI. You know, you talk about RPI, which is a big deal when it talks about selection time, and you know, basketball faces it, and football doesn't as much, but it's more of a baseball basketball thing, and you got to beat everybody you play, because you get Pepperdine twice, you get Long Beach twice, you know, you get Irvine 3 times this year, but they're almost like mini series on a couple Tuesdays, and that's how you got to really look at it. And you know, it helps to win those games and kind of get a hammer over some of those teams at the end of the day. So where you're 2-0 against them, you know, 1-1, you know, but you don't want to be 0-2. That's for sure.
Now you work a lot with the pitchers, and you only lost 1 pitcher off of last year's staff, so that's got to be a strong point for you.
It is. I mean, we do have some experience on the mound. We do have a tremendous group of freshmen as well with Garrett Cole. Has probably the biggest arm in the country. He was up to 99 miles an hour against Baylor. You talk about Trevor Bauer, who's a very talented freshman. We have a terrific sophomore class, a junior class, and senior class that we really, really like I said, with Lafferty and Novak. So we like our pitching. We think our pitching will settle in, and we hope to kind of carry the torch, you know, into conference play and, you know, be our strength.
Traditionally, UCLA has had success in developing professional players, and that's been no different under your watch. How important is that when you're out recruiting players to say, look, these are the type of players that come out of UCLA?
Yeah, it's very important. I mean, Gary Adams, Hall of Fame coach, was here for 30 years, you know, developed players, had a lot of success here, had success certainly on players moving on and doing very well in the professional baseball. And that's a big part of a recruiting, you know, spiel. I mean, because you got to be able to develop. Right. You got to have a track record and a history of development. You got to have guys that have enjoyed playing for you, guys that have had success playing for you, and that got better when they're 25, 26, 27 years old. So development is a big part of our program, and it's a big part of really college baseball and the recruitment of families and players. Do
you think because, as I say, historically there's been that success of individual players, is there maybe something that can come from being at UCLA that they take with them when they're advancing into the professional ranks?
Well, the exposure that they get is unmatched. I mean, we play the toughest schedule in some of the best environments. There's scouting directors, there's national cross-checkers, there's area scouts. I mean, a lot of eyes are on our guys, and they get evaluated a lot. And sometimes maybe too much sometimes when people start finding faults in players. But we get as much exposure as any program in the country, and we like it that way. We get covered, you know, quite heavily by Baseball America and by rivals, and so there's a lot out there in terms of our player development. There's a lot out there in terms of how our players are doing and how they're progressing throughout the major league ranks.
Now, you're slammed during the season. As you mentioned, it's a compacted schedule with a lot of games.
Yeah.
But are you still able to maintain contact with former players that have advanced forward?
We do. I mean, we stay in touch with, you know, a lot of guys that are moving on to the major leagues. I mean, Josh Renicky and David Huff and Hector Ambrose and Paul Segura, and certainly all the players that left last year. We watch them every single day, you know, with their statistics in professional baseball, and we try to talk to them, you know, once every couple weeks. And you know, they have a proud tradition of being a Bruin and being a part of this program, and they're following us. And then, you know, you talk to Eric Burns and Chase Utley and some of those guys, and they're following the program throughout, you know, on the internet and seeing how we're doing. So we know we have a lot of responsibility, and we're up to the challenge.
I would imagine that baseball is such a game of habit that a player who had played for you may find himself in a bad place playing minor league ball or even in the majors. and what was it that I used to do? And
Yeah.
call you up and say, what was it that used
Yeah.
to shake me out of this?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Tyson Brumman a lot last summer when he, moved into single A, and then he got brought up to double A, and he had his struggles in double A, and then he went to the Arizona Fall League, and we talked a lot about just getting back into being himself and what allowed him to be successful as a pitcher here. And a lot of those things, sometimes when you go back to former coaches or former atmospheres, like you said, you kind of get back into that positive frame of mind, and you really can start, being successful.
Now, you have a new facility out at Jackie Robinson Stadium to help with the bats this year, don't you?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, Jack and Rodine Gifford hitting facility, it's the best in the country. I mean, we can't ask for anything more. Our players are so proud, and our coaches and Jack and Rodine, have done so much for the Bruin family, and then this just adds to it. And their spot at Jackie Robinson is pretty clear and evident every single day when you go to the ballpark, when you see that, because people just can't believe how nice it is.
Having a facility like that, the new field, the steel field, all of that leads to help in recruiting.
No question. I mean, we're constantly looking to improve our facility. It's kind of a facilities game when you talk about recruiting. Players want hitting facilities. They want nice fields. They want nice clubhouses. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it now, and other than the most important thing, obviously, which is people. But players like facilities, and we are continuously trying to upgrade the seating and the clubhouse situation at Jackie. And we're pretty proud of what we've done at Jackie Robinson Stadium, and I think all the Bruins are.
Well, Coach, thanks for the time and joining us.
Thanks, Rob. Really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
We want to thank UCLA baseball coach John Savage, as well as women's basketball team member and senior Chinyere Beckway, for joining us here on UCLA Bruin Talk. Join us again as we bring UCLA athletics to you.